Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Veterans are the lifeblood of American freedom, serving in some of the harshest situations to secure that freedom across the globe. This is the Lounge with Legends show, celebrating their transformation from battlefield to business. The Lounge with Legends show with Marty the Moac Martinez and James A. Felts, a.k.a. Spartan 6.
Wow.
That's not your line. That's not your line. Do your line.
Well, we're live.
We're live.
Man, it's one of them mornings. I am off my game, having some signal challenges. James told me as the formal signal guy, do a hard reboot. It worked. So what's going on, James? What's going on in your world?
Well, I tell you what, I'm working issues just like you. Murphy likes to get a hold and grab hold sometimes. And, what you plan sometimes doesn't always happen. But, the thing that's great about us veterans is we have that dexterity and the flexibility to adapt, right? So been doing a lot of adapting today for sure.
It's funny you mentioned dexterity, flexibility, and Murphy because I'm training for Murph and this Memorial Day weekend coming up. And I'll be doing Murph, and I will probably not have flexibility and dexterity after I finish, even though I'm training up for it. But to remember our fallen and our comrades. So this weekend, I'll be going out to Arlington to pay our respects. But and it's an interesting week this week. We've got in the news you're seeing George Floyd. It's been 1 year. It's different. And, you and I were talking about this. And I think from our perspective as soldiers, I think people fail to realize that as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, we fight for freedoms, but we don't necessarily have freedom of speech and all that. And so with things like Black Lives Matter and Asian hate and all this stuff, we don't necessarily have these freedoms to speak out. And so as we transition, transform, progress, evolve, and get out of the military, we have to stop and think about, wow, what is my voice? How do I speak out? What is proper? What is not proper? And then even look at what we lived at in the military and realize maybe the military isn't necessarily the microcosm of society that we thought it was. So there's a lot of self-evaluation. And now I think that we're coming out of COVID. I think I read in the Wall Street Journal today, they're saying 60% of adult Americans have received their second dose of the COVID vaccine. So now we're coming out, and it'll be interesting now that we're coming out of our homes and behind our mask. Hopefully we can talk and have discussions and hopefully come back together as a nation, because there are a lot of issues that we do need to discuss, I think, and come back together. And it'll be interesting, the future. But
Well, I mean, it's just, it's just the nature of the beast, but this is perfect timing, talking about today's guest. I mean, that's their whole, reason for existence, probably getting started. And I'll let Ruben, the CEO, talk about that. But, they started it just recently, November of 2020. They started the Triple Nikel, and, it aligns with everything that you said. It's not just an apparel company, it's a movement. I always tell people that, it's great that I've been having the connection that I do with Ruben just because of the fact I believe in what they're doing. And that's the thing that I like about the Triple Nikel and the gentlemen that are associated with that. They're actually real. They're real veterans, and their motto is "We serve too." And I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Weren't they special forces though?
They were.
And weren't they all previously in the stockade?
Maybe. I don't know. Did you pull the footage for that?
I did. Should I show the footage of them?
Yeah,
from the
show it now.
stockade?
Absolutely.
Okay.
See, let's make sure this is right.
Let me see.
72, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security.
That guy there looked kind of like Ruben right there getting out of that chopper.
They still wanted by the government. They survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Well, that was very interesting, Marty. Where did you dig up that old footage?
Fort Bragg.
Airborne. Center of the universe, Fort Bragg. Man, I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about that. I'm sure he's going to smoke us for doing that right now.
No, but who do we have? We put him up in the right-hand corner. Bam!
That's
Bam!
true.
Give my military. Bam! Triple Nikel. Bring him on. There he is.
Yes.
On the screen.
He's always got to put himself, Ruben, you got to forgive him. He's always got to blow himself up first before he gets the legend in the actual legend spot.
We've already got the comments coming in. Got a weekly dose of Dano checking in.
Well, what's up, Dano?
Got Sebastian Torres.
Man,
you remember these guys?
Torres. That's Shamar Moore. You know what I'm talking about.
You know, the crazy thing is, what do they all have in common, though? That I just signed up for today. They're brand ambassadors. I signed up today, Ruben. I signed up.
I saw that, and
yes,
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you.
So it's funny that you put the 18 footage up there because we got B.A. Baracus on our team, and it's a true statement. So Rod Graham, he's our COO. He ships everything out. So whatever you receive from us, he's the guy who's running day-to-day business. And Rod, let me tell you something about Rod. Rod has like 400 something jumps. He's got a mustard stain. He jumped into Panama, but the dude hates to fly. He will not fly anywhere. We had our grand opening. We had a big event here in Texas. In San Antonio, we had our big photo shoot, and we had it here locally. Rod would not fly from Wilmington to here. He drove all the way here, brought all the shirts. That dude would not get on an airplane for anything.
Well, what if you put a chute on his back? Would he get on it then, you think?
No. Let me tell you, man. This guy was my team sergeant for 2 years when I was a commander of an ODA. And we would go on missions. And for us, man, if we get to fly to do a mission, that's gravy. I mean, that's what everybody wants. You know, the target will be, by driving, it may be 6 hours away. And if we get birds, we get all kinds of support. It'd be like, all right, Rod, we got the birds. He's like, hey, man, can we drive? So, yeah, man. So we call him B.A. Baracus. So I got a trip. I got a kick out of that.
I promise we didn't do any G2. We didn't dig that up. We just happened to figure that out. But we'll talk about Triple Nikel. Part of the being on the show was with the Lounge with Legends is talking about Ruben's military career. How did that begin for you?
Man, that's a long story, but to make it really short is my mom actually joined the Army. She retired in 2003. So I'm from Puerto Rico. That's where my family's from. And economically, we weren't in a really good position in the early 80s. So my mom, she joined the Army super late in life, and she was a single mom. And it was just me, my mother, and my grandmother living in a single bedroom apartment on a high rise. And she joined the Army one day out of the blue, and she took off and it brought us to the United States. So I grew up as a military brat from result of that. So, you know, just being a military brat and seeing it, and then fortunately for me, not being a really good student in high school, it was always an option for me. So that's kind of what kicked it off.
Awesome. When you went in, did you aspire to be the high-speed airborne ranger, Green Beret, ODA commander? What was your intentions when you went in at first?
Oh, man, not at all. So, you know, when you graduate high school and your buddies that actually did the due diligence and studied, and they have all of the scholarships, like James Felts, he's got 6 scholarships, and he's going to the University of North Carolina, Pembroke, you know, and all these places. Nobody said jack when I walked across the stage, and I was really embarrassed, man. So for me, I just joined the Army because I needed something, because I didn't have much going for me. So it was as simple as that. I didn't want anything high speed. My first job when I enlisted was a 71 Delta. I don't think it exists anymore, but I was a legal specialist. And we did everything on typewriters. So I never camped before. I wasn't in the Boy Scouts. I never went hunting before in my life. I didn't like being outdoors. I'm an inner city kid. So no, I didn't want to do none of that stuff at all. So it's weird that I ended up doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Marty was like an Eagle Scout, and he aspired to do that from day one. So I'm more like your guide plane. You know, I basically followed your path. I didn't go to the woods. I didn't like to go hunt. I didn't fish. I didn't do any of those high speed things that you would correlate with going into the wood line. But at the end of the day, you know, I found myself a path that way, putting on some BDU pants and signing up.
Yeah, it's weird how those things work out, man. It's just like anything else, man. You have mentors along the way who kind of plant a seed, and your life just starts deviating a bunch of different paths, man. And that's how I ended up, you know, doing the jobs that I ended up doing in the military.
Well, I always remembered you as not being the one that shied away from doing the hard jobs. So that's a good thing. You always, you know, you weren't doing the easy jobs. So I can vouch for you on that piece.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Well, he did, you know, Marty, he did find a picture of us back in the day. I challenged him, and he found a picture. I think it was a black and white photo because it's so long ago, but he did find a picture of us standing in the back there at 2nd 325 days. So that was pretty funny.
That's right. You guys did serve together. And Ruben, so you went to Ranger School, Jump Master School, Special Forces Selection, SEER School.
Yes.
And you were quoted as saying, despite all these very difficult military schools, your time serving with James A. Felt was the most difficult in your military career. That's what was in the paraglide, I believe was. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, the rest of the story is what, you know, Marty, you came in right when Marty was working for me. And then Paul Dixon actually took your old platoon there and Delta Company there.
You know what, man? I can't believe he didn't recognize me, man.
I know. That tells you a lot about him, doesn't it?
That hurt my feelings, man.
Oh, man.
So you didn't have the intention of wanting to, you know, make a career out of this. You were probably going to be kind of like us. We came in, one and done, but you continue to serve. What was that? What made you want to serve and continue to stay in? I mean, move from was it a paralegal, 71 Delta, and become an officer in, you know, 11 Alpha, then go Special Forces, 18 Alpha.
Yeah, you know, everything is a series of circumstances, you know. So as a young impressionable kid with who's not really studious, your first assignment is in a legal office with a bunch of lawyers. So all you see are the best cars, and you know, I was a reservist, so I was not active duty. So all of these attorneys that I work for in the unit, you know, these guys are big time lawyers, big time attorneys. They had their own firms outside of the civilian world. So, you know, the mentorship that I was able to receive from those guys, you know, you can't buy that.
Right.
And, you know, a couple of them took me under their wing, and I'm really appreciative of that. You know, and then obviously my mother, she was still serving, and she was also a mentor of mine, just giving me her 2 cents. And my mother she was a lab tech. So nobody in my life, with the exception of one gentleman, he was our youth director in the church that I went to growing up, and he was a former Special Forces officer, also a Vietnam veteran. So he's like really the only person in my life who had any type of just like coolness, if that's even a word. So, you know, everybody around me was just giving me the advice of, hey man, you got to milk the military for what it's worth, and you know, use it, continue your education. You need to just kind of get your head on right, man. So the legal guys, I saw what they were doing, and I said, man, I need to become an officer. So I enrolled into college, and I got into ROTC. So that's how that occurred. You know, the Ranger Challenge guys, all of them wanted to be infantry guys. So I said, well, I guess I can give that a shot. And that's how I ended up in the infantry.
Yeah.
And, you know, James and I were branch detail signal infantry. And I think that was a really popular thing back then, because Microsoft was just really taking off. You know, we were going into that weird 2000s era where big tech was taking off. So everybody wanted to get in on the tech thing. So I said, I'll get in on the tech thing too, and be a signal guy. So that's how I got into signal, but not knowing anything about signal. So when I got into signal, I hated it. So
Airborne.
And I ended up being a SIGO for a special forces unit in Germany, and in the 1st of the 10th. And again, just looking around and seeing the caliber of soldier and officers that was there, I was really jealous that I didn't do it. And, you know, I petitioned and I got a waiver, and they gave me one shot. So I said, hey, man, if you go to selection, you can't mess this up. If you don't get selected, you're going to be at risk for a lot of things, command, promotion, the whole 9 yards. So I just did it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, kind of like Eminem says, you only get one shot. So,
Right.
So that's how I kind of got into SF. You know, I've had seeds planted along the way, but I can say I was never that assertive guy who just knew what he wanted to do in his career. I was just always in the right place at the right time, and just did my best to get there.
So looking back, if there's a young 18-year-old Ruben back in Puerto Rico, what would you tell him right now?
Man, I would tell him he's got to dream big. You know, you don't want to be, and this is the advice I give my son and my daughter and anybody worth that wants to just listen to what I have to say. You don't want to be the guy or girl who at 80 years old looks in the mirror and regrets not having the opportunity to have just tried. So if you have an idea that you want to do something, just do it. You know, don't let the worst thing you can do is let somebody talk you out of doing something. Yeah. If it's not illegal or immoral, man, just give it a shot. So just dream big and go out there and do it. The best thing that'll happen is that you make your dreams come true, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. That's one of the things that I picked up from my buddy Corey Marlowe is if it's not illegal, immoral, or fattening, we're probably going to do it. You know?
You say fattening?
Fattening.
Yeah, I'll do the fattening part. I'm fine with that.
I do what I want, man. I'm getting fat.
Yeah, I'm a heavy drop now. But that's a great advice, Ruben. I mean, that's still the motto that you're living by now. You know, that's the same things that you're still pushing forward with. I mean, that's, I wish I would have reconnected back with you probably about 3 years ago. I've reconnected back with you 3 years too late. And the reason why I say that is you could have inspired me to do more, because I sat on the bench for about probably 2 to 3 years. Solid, just sat on the bench watching.
No,
and Marty
it's all good though, man. I have when I got out, I disconnected from the military completely. I wanted to immerse myself back into the civilian world, and it's probably the best thing that I did, because you stay in the military so long, you get into this box and of language, of terminology, of thinking, and it took about 2 years of assimilating with just regular people and understanding who I was at my core. So coming back with Triple Nikel has given me the opportunity to reconnect in the veteran space and just given a different point of view, because I think a lot of guys and girls get out and they gravitate back to the veteran community, and it's just a lot of closed-mindedness, I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's good to just step outside, because, man, the world is a big place, and the majority of the nation has never served.
Right.
It's a very small population that serves. So
that's one of the things we had a discussion about just this week, James and I, with my my partner, my Ranger buddy, Lamont Christian, is we have all these transition services, transition assistance program services, TAPS. But we don't talk about transformation, progression, evolution. TAPS is also, ironically, what they play at your funeral. We don't transform. We don't really focus on transition. Is as you're moving down a conveyor belt. That's kind of what we're doing with a lot of the soldiers. Here, you need to move here and get out of the military and get a job. Bam, bam, bam. And what your point, to your point is, how do you get to that next level and get into society, figure out this next part, and become a productive member of society, so that you're out there with everybody else, and you can go back and forth, and you can plug and play. And it's a challenge, especially with a lot of us with post-traumatic stress, because we've seen, I go back to OIF 1 when we were there at Green Ramp, and I remember we were there. I was a company XO, and I was just telling everybody, look, this was my first time going in, and hey guys, we're about to lose our innocence. I don't know what the hell we're going to see, but I know we're not going to come back the same. And here we are 20 years later, and I was right, unfortunately. But how do you come back to that? And so maybe the transition assistance program is focused a lot on getting the jobs, but not a lot on how do you work back into society.
Yeah, man, it's hard. I don't think any one person has a right answer, but a key component of it is getting out there and just becoming a regular person again.
Right.
Yeah. Being a vet is good, but just realize you're a civilian now, and embrace that.
Right. No, it's awesome.
That goes back to what, and I know we're going to talk about at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about, Triple Nikel a heck of a lot more. But, it's just, I think that your whole life has been prepped for this, if that makes sense. I feel like every lesson that you've learned along the way has brought you to this point, because I think that the Triple Nikel, it's time. The time is now. I think it's the perfect time. This is what the moment called for. This is what needs to happen. And I think, you're ready. And I know you got some gentlemen that are working with you, but I know you're ready. And I mean, I'm just happy to celebrate with you, because, I watched your first podcast with Chris, and, you talk about wearing tactical 511 gear, talk about, what's the operator Velcro, whatever hat that people wear. And, Marty and I don't have beards. So, the thing is, the thing that I love about what you guys are doing is, you're not trying to make everyone fit into a category. You are just trying for them to be the person that they are. And that's what I appreciate. And that's part of, why we started, Marty and I started the show together, is because we want to celebrate those success stories. And that, hey, look, we're not all a bunch of misfit children, like Marty says. And we do have experiences and have experienced combat situations, which has changed us. We are no longer, you remember the movie Outsiders? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
We're no longer Pony Boy, right? We're not golden. I tried to stay as gold as long as I could, but they promoted me to first lieutenant so I could be Marty's boss. But the great thing about that is you're not asking any one person, or you're repping everyone. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're repping all veterans, all people. And it's just not a veteran community. Triple Nikel is even more than a veteran community. I think it's a nationwide thing that could happen, if not worldwide. So that's why I'm just happy we got you on now before you get too big and be like, Ruben, you remember me?
No, man. You can't forget where you come from, man.
I know. I'm just playing with you. I know. I'm excited for you guys, man.
So you formed Triple Nikel with some of your brothers from everyone started from 82nd Airborne. There's some bonds there, and you've got this tight bond, this family. What are some of the things that you've brought from the military, and what are some of the challenges where you said, okay, stop, we got to ditch some of this stuff?
Yeah. So the makeup of who's who in the zoo, basically, you got myself. I've talked about Rod, B.A. Baracus.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to look, and that's what we call ourselves as the A-team, right? So, if you look at me as Hannibal, you look at Rod as B.A. Baracus. He was, we actually served together, just like you and Marty. He was my team sergeant in 7th Group. And then you got Chris McPhee. Chris is like face. He's out there. He's working the crowd and doing marketing. And he came out of 3rd Group. And we make up the core of the Special Forces guys. And then you have Cortez Riggs, who he has become a big influencer in the veteran space. Mm-hmm. And we brought him on board because of those skill sets that he's curated since he's retired. Yeah. With the Military Influencer Conference. And, he's a recruiter by trade, retired first sergeant. So he had a skill set that none of us had, being able to network with a lot of these, big businesses and how they operate. So between all of us, we just brought a lot of different skill sets into the building. And the things that we knew that we had to ditch right at the front door was, look, I think you can look at any veteran apparel company and you can find some type of sector of being a badass from some service along the way. If you want Rangers, you go to this company. If you want grunts, you go to this company. If you want Navy SEALs, you go to this company. And we knew right at the front door, we just wanted to ditch that. We know what we did. And actually, some of these guys that are out there, they actually work for us, which is the funny part. So we just wanted to ditch that persona right off the front. We didn't want any guns in our advertising. We didn't want to advertise violence. We didn't want to advertise, we didn't want to portray misogyny towards our women. So we knew right off the bat, we wanted to be different in that regard.
Right.
We knew that most veteran companies were marginalizing soft-skilled MOSs. So we wanted to highlight that. So, everything that the other guys were doing, we just wanted to do it different. So right off the bat, we knew that we were going to do that. So bringing everybody's skill sets to the table, strengths and weaknesses, balancing those out, and then just doing something completely different that wasn't out there. That was the core foundation of what we were going to do with Triple Nikel and how we operated, basically. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Just be boring, but be cool.
No, you guys have you don't act like you're not cool. Come on now. You can't that's one thing you guys can't pretend, okay? I saw y'all in Virginia. No one came down our end. They were all down there at your tent. So you guys are definitely cool.
So let's go ahead and cut to commercial. We're gonna run Ryan Hendricks. He's got his book out, Tip of the Spear, Special Forces. You can pick it up on Amazon. He's currently in Afghanistan right now. He's going to be on the show in July or August. So, but our thoughts and prayers for him and all of our brothers and sisters that are currently deployed. Red Friday coming up. You can get with Donnell Johns. Get your Triple Nikel shirt. And remember, everyone deployed for that Red Friday. And so when Ryan comes home, he'll be on the show. We'll pick up his book. Then we're also going to run we're going to do a Triple Nikel spot on here. And then we'll be back in a few minutes.
From right to left, and every angle in between, know what I mean in this day and age. So many seem like they're lost inside a world and held captive in a dream. A glimpse of mediocrity, take one for the team. And even though this path is long and this place is unforeseen, gotta keep your feet moving, filling spaces in between, seeing places in your dreams. If you complacent by your means, by all means go back to sleep. The path is steep, there's no rest for the weary. If you intend to reach peaks, it gets deep. Come on, it's infinite, we still climbing, yes, y'all. And thanks for the positive vibes, but I still got a mountain to climb. Just take it one step at a time,
I'm gonna fall till I fall, gonna ride till I die. I'll never give in, yo, if I wanna survive. Not gonna swallow my pride, I'll never give up. Cause when it's all said and done, is what I've done enough. I push myself to the edge, I push myself to the brink. Is the toil all worth it? It makes me stop and think. But through the mud and the mire, the joy and the strife, no one can claim that I didn't live all of this beautiful life.
My name is Annette Wittenberger. I am the founder of A Wild Ride Call Life, and
You're watching the Lounge with Legends TV show with your hosts, Marty Martinez and James A. Felts.
Finally, you put me in the light.
Yeah, I almost forgot to mention we have Annette Wittenberger from last week. Her book launch is next week. It's in Clifton, and so that information is on our website. She's got her book launch for her book. So, anyways, so welcome back. And James, did you want to do your music trivia?
Yes. So Ruben, since Marty makes me work out again, he started making me work out again. I got to have the right mindset and the right music. So we got a couple songs that I might have found on the Anthem track that's picked it, and I want to know if you could just give us the person who selected the song and what the meaning and why that was selected.
Okay. That's the Wu-Tang Clan, man. and that is that's Protect Your Neck from the 36 Chambers. And I went and saw them in concert when they came right before COVID shut everything down. They did their 30th anniversary. We are old, man. 30th or 25th anniversary.
I know,
of
right?
The 36 Chambers. That, let me tell you what, that concert was live, all the way live. It was so good. But I actually chose that song.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you noticed, so like we saw each other in Virginia, but everywhere we go, we roll deep. And so people call us the Wu-Tang Clan because everywhere we go, we just have an entourage of our friends, man. We have a very big supportive group of guys and girls who support what we do, just because our community is real tight. And so we call ourselves the Wu-Tang Clan everywhere we go. So it's
Nice.
It's fun.
That was too easy, Marty. We got to give him a better one. You got to give him a harder one. Give him a harder one. Marty's old. He thinks that's hard.
I think probably Cortez chose Tupac. It was either Cortez or Rod. One of those two dudes who chose that song, if I'm not mistaken. Huge Tupac fans.
Okay. And then this is one that was interesting in there.
Phil Collins into the night.
In the air tonight.
Yeah. I know exactly what that was Chris McPhee, actually.
Really?
When he submitted it, I was like, man, that's my Phil, man. He was like, man, I love Phil Collins. All right.
That to me, it's like you just woke up, you just conducting stand 2, you just woke up, and then you're about to do a mission, and then about to get attacked, and that comes on.
Yeah, man. So every playlist that we have, you're getting the likes of all of us. So it's weird. We all got weird taste in music, so we try to balance it out. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it goes along with your message, of diversity. If you listen to your, I follow you on Spotify. That's how I found your anthem there, and I've been, listening to that. But it's a good mix because it's diverse. There's no set. It's not all one genre. It's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs in there that I could probably relate more to than Marty, like the Justin Timberlake song. But
that's true. So James thinks that this is his. And I'm older, so I'm more of the.
You can't mess with Lionel.
Lionel Richie, man.
Making a comeback. So I was Lurse back in the '90s, and we used to always say Lionel Richie making a comeback. So, and then here we are, Lionel Richie on American Idol. Bam! Who'd have thunk it?
Lurse in the '90s. I like
I'm old. No,
I was in high school.
That's what we were saying.
Junior high.
Jumping out of planes while you're jumping off the school bus, Airborne.
Well, I was still listening to Lionel Richie, but it was for other reasons. Airborne.
All right, so we've transitioned. Let's talk Triple Nikel. James.
I love it.
So, question for you. How did you come up with the Triple Nikel Creed? How did you guys come up with that?
The Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy one, actually. So, obviously, Rod, Chris, and myself, we're all Rangers. And we knew we wanted to take the Ranger Creed and transform that into the Triple Nikel Creed because it's a way of life for us. So I got to give a shout out to Maury Hayes. He's also a 7th Group alumni from C37. He's just a wordsmith. And I reached out to Maury and I said, Maury, you are going to impact everybody who receives one of our packages. Take this Ranger Creed and make the Triple Nikel Creed. And 2 days later, he came back with the Triple Nickel Creed, and and that's it, man. He made it for us, and it embodied everything that we wanted people just to know about us.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, I think, that's the thing that a lot of people need to understand. This is just not an apparel company. It's a way of life, is the way I look at it for you all. I mean, it's a movement. Everyone's like, why you always call it a movement? And I tell you, I get countless of direct messaging asking me, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Who made that shirt? And I'm like, hey, these guys, they make gear. I've actually posted in the comments section, if you want to find your gear and you need custom gear, you need to reach out to triplenikel.com and you can do that. And, the thing about it is, when I wear something, I want it to mean something. I just don't throw something on my body and represent it that I don't believe in. So if you see me wearing something, it means something. So I'm honored just to be able to wear your stuff, man. I mean, I'm just glad, because the first thing I say is, man, this guy I was in the Army with, this guy, I mean, he's doing this, and I get excited, man, like a kid in a candy store. So, when we were doing the list for the show, Marty has a big sphere of influence, and I was like, you know what? I said, and you guys popped on the scene, because you guys have only been on the scene since November. You guys are still new as far as with the apparel gear. I mean, you guys are big, huge, and you're going to be bigger. And it's just amazing, because what you have been able to do with your following in such a short amount of time is amazing. I did have another question. I don't want to steal Marty's thunder or anything, but what would you say is the number one reason why you started Triple Nikel, in your opinion, for you, Ruben?
Yeah, that's an easy question to answer. I love answering this question. The number one reason is a lack of representation that we saw and that I saw, speaking for myself, in the veteran apparel space and veteran retail space. So I love to say that January 1st, 2020, Ruben Ayala did not wake up wanting to start an apparel company. Nowhere in my radar. But COVID changed everything. It brought everything to a grinding halt for me and my business. Same thing with my partners. And it just allowed me the opportunity to just see what was going on and just get in front of the computer and see what was happening. So between COVID, the events of, you talked about it a little bit, Marty, with the death of George Floyd on May 25th. And then, watching Ahmaud Marbury getting hunted down on the street, and, Breonna Taylor, those things really resonated really hard with me. Right. And within our community, I just saw a lot of resonation and amplification of a lot of hate and a lot of violence that I thought was uncalled for. And the easiest way for me to do something about it was to start an apparel company with a different type of message. And that's how Triple Nikel was born, to be honest with you. It had absolutely nothing to do with us wanting to monetize a company. It was seeking out the right people to be part of it and to send a clear message that, you know what, all this bullshit that we see that's currently out there needs to come to a stop. And the only guys or girls who can do something about it are the real ones who were out here who did.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because everyone says somebody needs to do something. The last time I checked, you are somebody.
Correct.
So be that somebody, be the change that you want to be.
Correct.
Have you had any negative criticism for this change? Because like Marty and I had our first hater last week. We actually had our first person that, bashed us on our show and everything else. So, I didn't know.
I knew we made it.
We made it. That's what Marty said. We made it. So somebody actually doesn't like us. That's amazing. But have you had a lot of pushback, a lot of friction?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think I can't tell you how many times I've been called a thug. I haven't been called a thug in quite a few years, but I got called a thug, a criminal, because we sold baseball hats that have a flat bill. We've gotten a lot of flack for our Unity collection line, and just not being on par with what people think we should be representing. And we've definitely gotten a lot of flack by just our stance on diversity. So, you know,
Right.
if you're a special forces guy, you know, people are going to expect you to behave a certain way. And we don't behave in that certain fashion. So, you know, even with some members within our community are definitely not for what we're doing, which it's cool with me. Like you said, we made it.
To each their own.
Yeah.
I mean, life is too short to care about what everyone else thinks. You know, we had a discussion with one of our future guests. We're going to have the Deadlift Diva on. And so we started talking about these things, and I was explaining that I think, and this isn't going to sit well with a lot of people, but in the military, we have a lot of different training. We have EO training, sharp training, all this other training. I said we should get rid of all of it. And we should have one training called Don't Be an Asshole. A world view, understanding the world view. And that's it. And it's just saying, understand everyone else's views and kind of saying we can cohabitate, we can coexist and understand. Just because that's your view doesn't make it right. And we can coexist. We have to coexist, you know, and that's it. And obviously I'm oversimplifying it, but you know, there's just because I get PowerPoint training and over, it doesn't mean that I'm going to come out and go, I am now trained. You know, I think we are now, because of the death by PowerPoint, I'm actually dulling my senses to sexual harassment, EO, and all this other stuff. So I think we're having a counter effect to all of it, you know? But so
yeah, I think you may be onto something there, man.
But
because that is a good day to go to sick call, right?
I should have went on sick call more to help with all the VA stuff. but so your shirt there that you have on now, the Stonewall shirt, what's the story behind that shirt there that you have on?
Yeah, so quick, down and dirty. So we have the Unity collection, which is out now. And the Unity collection is specifically curated to set up Triple Nikel as an ally in the LGBTQ movement. So for us, we view that movement as a civil rights issue, particularly within the veteran community, because they're just highly discriminated against. I mean, we just saw that last year with legislation that was passed by the previous administration. So we wanted just a place where veterans can come and just feel comfortable in if they're part of that community. So Stonewall is one of the designs from that collection. Stonewall is the birthplace, the unofficial birthplace of the LGBTQ movement. Stonewall, New York, is a bar where there were some riots back in 1969. Quite a few people lost their lives, but it's the place where is recognized as one of the birthplaces of the LGBTQ movement. So we wanted to recognize that in a t-shirt. And starting in June, actually, we partnered with Lauren Michaels Harris, and we are going to be releasing some public service announcements throughout the month of June for Pride Month, talking about these Stonewall moments, 60-second clips, just educating people as to what happened that day during that period of time that led to the entire movement. And we're also going to be sharing stories from different people in the community and allies, and just, sharing their, what's going on, Lamont? Sharing their stories throughout their LGBT journey.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to actually have, Triple Nikel's going to sponsor our June 30th episode with, we're calling it the one with the Rainbow Wolfhound, which is going to be with JV Hasso and Lauren Michaels Harris. And that'll be us closing out Pride Month with my former NCO, who's actually talking about his story about, living in the military under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And then on the other side of it, and then Lauren Michaels Harris is, while he was in the Air Force, and so it'll be pretty interesting. So I'm excited, and I appreciate you all helping us sponsor that episode.
Heck yeah, man! Whatever you guys need, you know, all you got to do is ask. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, James, you looking at a question?
What you got, man? What you got?
I think I don't know. What about the classic question you're always supposed to ask, Marty? Is that time for that or no?
Okay, I thought you had one more question.
No, I'm going to call Ruben after this.
I can take over the show.
Hey, anytime you want, man. Seriously, I'm going to Disney World in July. I need to fill in for that.
There you go. You could do the cameo. You could stand in for James. It'll be me and you running it.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Bye, James. Bye, Felicia.
I've actually been wanting to ask you, Marty, where you get that camouflage suit jacket at?
Oh, you're gonna laugh at this. This is secondhand. What?
He recycled, reduced, and repurposed it.
$60.
Did you get that made out of your pants?
No, actually, I got this thing on Poshmark. I negotiated it down to $60. I loved it.
Okay.
We're actually looking for somebody to design a jacket for us.
I know. I got this with the intent of cutting it in half and doing half black, half this. But then I put it on. I was like, oh, it's too nice. I like this. If we want to do half BDU, half black. But
I like it.
But
I'm sure somebody out there can do that.
I'm sure.
I'm sure you know somebody that can help us.
Right.
I know you do, Ruben.
With a triple nickel on the side.
Dude, yeah, my mind's already working.
I got you.
Ruben, I got to ask the question that we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
We ask all of our guests that come on, all of our legends that have served. You've served and sacrificed and missed birthdays and Christmases and all these moments. And so freedom for us means something different than some of our civilian counterparts. So we ask you, Ruben, what does freedom mean to you?
Yeah, that's an easy question, and it goes back to the initial conversation. Freedom means to me the opportunity to just wake up and fulfill your dreams. So if we did not live in a country where we didn't have the freedoms to be able to do that, I think we would quickly realize the regret of not having that freedom. So just being able to live out your dreams and at least try to fulfill them, that's what freedom means to me.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. The freedom for you to start your movement with a clothing company. That's amazing. I think, speaking on behalf of myself and James, man, we appreciate everything you and Triple Nikel are doing and giving a voice. And, we've got Casey West saying, be purchasing some more Triple Nikel apparel. Another
use my coupon code, Casey.
White in there. And so, yeah, we're coming into Memorial Day, and we're not one to say, don't not have a great time for Memorial Day, but we do ask that you do take a moment and remember those that sacrificed 1,000 tomorrows so that we can enjoy our time and our freedoms today. And that's all we ask. And so remember those. We have our poppy on so that we can remember. But that's it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the time with your family. Go out and boat, barbecue, drink your cervezas. Grab that extra guacamole on your chip and enjoy your time, because that's what we do. That's why we're soldiers, sailors, Air Force, Airmen, and Marines, is so that we can do that for your freedoms. And so that's why we do it. So.
Absolutely.
So, Ruben, I thank you for your service, sir, and I know James does as well.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to be here and chop it up with you guys. It's great. It's still amazing to me, man, that we served. God, man, it seems like forever ago, 20 plus years ago, and here we are today. You got your own TV show. We have an apparel company.
I know. We'll get you guys back on. We'll get Chris and Cortez and B.A. Baracus. I'm forever going to call him B.A. Baracus now.
He's gonna know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, next month he's going in for double knee replacement surgery, man. That's what all those jumps get you, man.
Oh, real quick, are you guys going to be at Fort Bragg for?
Come on, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be at Fort Bragg, July 17th, AFES with Donnell Johns, Veterans Grow America. If you want to see Triple Nikel in person, they'll be at Fort Bragg. I'm not sure if it's the North or South PX, but follow South PX. Follow Donnell Johns on Facebook. Triple Nikel, they'll be there. Footies will be there. There'll be a whole bunch of veterans. I talked to David, the popcorn guy. He's going to be there. I'm sure Body Aqua's going to be there. There'll be a bunch of great veterans out there.
Yes.
So I appreciate it. And yeah, it'll be 80 Deuce reunion. Orlando, what's going on? You are a legend, brother. And Lamont, it will be an 80 Deuce reunion. All right.
Yeah. It's a homecoming for us. Yeah, we can't wait.
Homecoming. All right. Thank you, Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. What a great episode, James.
Yeah, I can't say it enough. Whatever support that the folks out there that are watching can give the Triple Nikel, please do. Their gear is, and I'm not just saying this, their shirts are amazing and great quality. And they're just the mission behind it and the creed behind it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And the
absolutely.
men behind it.
It's so powerful. And I'm glad that, we're going to be rocking definitely some more Triple Nikel gear, and hopefully we can rock it for our mission here with Lounge of Legends or JTF 214. We're going to work something out. Who do we got next week? Jeff Hoglund.
We do.
Jeff Hoglund's coming on TED Talk. He's powerful TED Talk. He faced his demons. It's going to be powerful. So definitely he'll be here. He's the CEO of Invictus, CEO and founder of Invictus. He'll be on. He's going to share his story about, I don't even want to ruin it. You just go check it out. We'll post his video on there, his TED Talk out of Breckenridge, Colorado, about his story. And it is amazing. I just can't say enough about it, but check it out. I appreciate you all checking out another episode of Lounge with Legends, and y'all be good.
You've been watching the Lounge with Legends show on E360 TV, countering the narrative that veterans are all broken misfit toys. Veterans are the lifeblood of American freedom. Serving in harsh situations, coupled with their training, have forged them into some of the most resilient and capable leaders in the world. And that's where we come in, celebrating the success stories, taking you on a journey of transformation from military to business. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back soon. But find us on Facebook at Lounge with Legend or at JTF 214. Till next time.